Florida. Today is February 11th for our recording. Anybody who is watching this at a later date. And we are doing our town hall for the Raiders of the Lost. Um, I have on here the Lost Ark, and it's the Lost Trail. I already goofed on the very first slide, guys. Anyways, here we go. Um, we are going to be in Ocala, so I feature our famous Ocala on our slide deck tonight. And they will be, oh, why am I not advancing? There we go. So this year, we're switching things up a little bit. And instead of being at the Vortex in Santos, we are going to be at the Florida Horse Park. We'll still be racing and doing our adventure stuff on the Santos Trail, but our actual venue will be at that Florida Horse Park. Super excited because this is the first time that we, as in Florida NICA, are able to offer camping at our venue. So if you are someone who kind of follows the other NICA leagues, you may see that a lot of them camp at their events, and that just is another level of building community and that. So I'm super excited that we're going to be able to offer that to everybody. There is a link that you can, if you have not already reserved your spot, there are still spots available, so you can get over there and reserve that spot. The Florida Horse Park is requiring that we have everybody complete a waiver. So what we're suggesting, and I'll be sending this link out, it'll be in our newsletter. And I'm also sending it out to all the head coaches and team directors. But if you can fill it out, get it back to your head coach, and then head coaches, when you check in at registration with Papa G, if you can give him all of the waivers at that time. Other fun things we have going on this weekend will be we're going to do a rad movie night. We're going to have a sunset ride, so make sure you bring your lights for that. We're going to have three different food trucks, and this is going to be our first mass start race. So super, super excited to get that going. Reminder we talked about last time, we have pit zone passes. You head coaches have picked those up from registration at the last event. We'll be distributing those to people who are carrying all the big things. So each team gets three or not parking, pit zone passes. And those three people are the people that are allowed to come into the pit zone drop-off area. You want to get and drop all your things there and then move the cars on out over into parking. Our head coaches, they have their own rad parking also. And if you are a head coach and you are also the one bringing everything, our head coach parking is right next to that drop-off area. So you might not want to even use the drop-off, just pull right into the head coach parking area, and then you could hand that pit zone pass off to another team member who might want to.
Jack,
I'm not going to read this entire schedule to you guys. Know that it is in the race flyer. You can print it out there. You can take it with you. You can screenshot it, like whatever. I'm not going to, like I said, go over and read all of this. Generally, Friday, core crew shows up. If you are camping, you can arrive at 4 o'clock to get set up. Saturday, we'll be starting off with our volunteers at 9 o'clock, and then moving on through, we have our coach meeting 12:05, followed by our coaches pre-ride, group pre-ride, fifth and sixth grade pre-ride, and then open to everybody. And at 4:30, we'll be doing a fast lap, which I'll be talking about in just a little bit. We'll go into some extra detail with that. Then everything will close up for the evening as far as being out on the race course and that. But we'll have at 5:30, we're gonna do the adventure sunset ride. So helmets are required, as
huh?
always. Lights are required. And we still want you to be in your coach ratios. So then 6:30-ish, we will be doing our movie night. We have a big screen, and that we're gonna be watching the movie Rad, and hope that you guys can come out and see what that check that all out.
No.
And like I said, about 6:30, we're gonna wait until the sun gets down a little bit so that we can see better with that. Sunday we start at
Jackie,
7 o'clock in the morning. Pre-ride 7:30-ish. You always want to listen for the announcements to make sure that pre-ride has been clear. Our pre-ride has been cleared. We know that the trail is in good condition and that we can then send you guys out. Pit zone opens, coach meeting 8:30, and then we get racing at 9:30. Plan to wrap up about that 2:30, 3 o'clock-ish is when we plan to have our award ceremony. And again, all of this information is in the race flyer. You can get the race flyer off the website. Go to our website. Up at the very homepage, there's a button up there that says event weekends. Hit that. That takes you over to our event page. Scroll down to Santos, and then there you can see the race flyer, and you can get this information there.
while you're at your break, I'm just gonna Andrew and Sarah, if you guys can put your computers on mute, keep kind of kicking over Jackie's audio.
All right, Joe, I'm passing it off to you for our first mass start race.
All right, yes, the mass start, and I hope the coaches and kids are having fun and getting ready for the mass start and doing some elbow to elbow practice starts. We are going four wide. So the first four from the time trial essentially are the first four in the first row, and so on as you go back. Um, just make sure, please, you practice the starts with everybody. Practice if they're in clipless pedals that they are competent with those and comfortable with them. If they are riding, this is a good time, and I did see a couple kids that I spoke to about these. If they're on flat pedals and the flat pedals aren't really in good shape, and the little screws that come out of those pedals have lost all their grip or have been ground off from just rocks and riding, make sure they get those replaced because one of the fifth graders and an eighth grade boy I saw slipping off of their pedals just consistently. It wasn't their shoes, it was all the pedals. Um, so coaches, if you can, check their equipment before that. Everybody, please pass with class, both in your pre-rides and in the race. Uh, Call your passes, be acknowledged, and acknowledge the people that are needing to pass. Uh, Practice your handoffs, your feed zone handoffs for anybody that's doing multiple laps. Fifth graders, again, will not need a handoff. They will be doing one lap. This is a twisty trail. It's not as bad as Dogbone and Twister that we raced on last year at the Vortex, but it does have lots of turns and they are pretty fast. We were pre-riding and checking the trails the other day, and you can pedal through most all of the corners. There's a couple that are pretty hot that you will not be able to make it through, but coaches just practice those and know that it's kind of a long lap. It's 3.8 miles for our fifth graders, 3.8 miles for per lap for the others, plus the infield, which makes it almost a 4 mile lap. And the high school loop is just shy of 7 miles, plus or minus, depending on how our infield is set up. And all these are on the event flyer and on the webpage, so you can check that out. I know our Ocala kids, I saw some of them out in the area this weekend. Okay. Venue asks, the Florida Horse Park does have the waivers. Those will go out, as Jackie said. We will have an area that's designated for warm up, and very specifically because of all the horses. They will have a horse event out there this weekend, I believe on both days, and they will have some of the kids on horses at the polo grounds. So please be aware of that. Use your horse rider etiquette and maintain your warm-ups and riding in the area that's designated. Uh, Dogs, keep them on short 6 foot leashes. and no loose dogs over by the horses, please. Leave no trace. We are going to get all of our garbage out of there. Ocala, it was very, very dry out there, and they're on a burn ban. So please, no open flames, smoking, vaping, tobacco, alcohol, all the stuff that shouldn't be at the NICA event should still not be at the NICA event. But please be
No.
aware of how dry it is.
No.
Who we got?
Muted.
Ed, let's see. Jackie, if you can mute those when you pick them up, I can't from my end. And let's see. Lastly, the Jeep trails and horse trails. Please do not ride on the horse trails. Those are off limits to us. And there are lots of horses, lots of horse traffic out there. So please be respectful to their trails and the venue in general. They're excited to have us, but I just fear that the horse folks, there are so many of them, and there are some very beautiful horses there that I know cost a lot of money, and they were looking at us a little crooked the other day when we had bicycles there. Okay. The wave start times. The middle school boys are going to kick us off with middle school A, B, sixth grade boys, and then our fifth grade boys. They start right at 10:30. They're going to be staging the 10 minutes before the start. So please make sure uh, that you are there at your staging. It will be well marked. Know what time you need to be there. If you need to write it on your rider's hands. But you should all have a coach there with the riders at staging anyway. So make sure they are there. Make sure they do not miss their start, please. And everybody will have a good time. So we will have middle school boys in wave one. Wave two will be all of our girls, starting with varsity girls, followed by JV1 girls, and then middle school A girls. JV2 girls, JV3 girls, middle school B girls, sixth girls, and fifth girls. And then our high school boys will round it out at the end of the day with they're getting out there at a 145 for some very fast racing. I think they're going to enjoy it. Okay, middle school waves, we just covered that. Only student athletes and a coach from each team. Please keep the kids, the dogs, and the family out of the staging area. Just the way the start is going to go, the kids will be racing all around the pit zone to head out back into the single track. So there's plenty of great spots to see the start once they're single filed out and get some good pictures in that area. You will get to see quite a bit of the kids as they come into the start finish area through the feed zone and then right back through the pit zone heading out to the race. And again, if they miss their call up, they are heading to the back for a later starting position. We're not going to shuffle the other kids around because they missed their row. So please keep that in mind, coaches. All right. Jackie, next. Our equipment, make sure we do all of our A, Bs, and Cs. And coaches, please, if you have a Thursday practice or Friday practice, see if you can do all of your bicycle checks, helmet checks, maybe the last practices for handoffs and your starts at those practices. And get the kids ready, make sure everybody's comfortable. Riding and supporting on the course. As always, only medication can be passed off when medically necessary to the rider, or their inhalers. Everything else is going to be from the feed zone only. There will be no running or riding or e-biking or anything else parallel to the course along with your rider or your child. So please do not do that. And do not provide them food again outside of the feed zone. The caffeinated beverages, we've asked all of the food trucks to not pack caffeinated beverages except a little bit maybe for the parents. But they did understand that. So please, parents, coaches, cut out the caffeine for the weekend and realize that should not be in our pit zone. Another one, I don't know if I'm going to say real quickly, make sure that the kids have their number plates and make sure your coaches have your number plates. Make sure everything's in line before you leave home and head to the race course. Uh, the feed zone access, you will have these depending on the number of riders. You will be issued a certain number from Papa G. Just pick those up. You will need to have those in the feed zone rather, and uh, and no student athletes. Please, coaches, and be wearing something that represents your team so everybody knows who you are and where you are, and your student athlete can pick you out as they come through the feed zone. Okay, next one, Jackie. Okay, the pre-ride and grit schedule. Grit will be at 1:30 again. At 2 o'clock, we'll get the fifth graders and sixth graders out there to do their lap and preview their course. The fifth and sixth grade and the way the course is set up is everybody will be using the first 3/4 of the course. That will be the lap for the fifth graders. That will be the laps for the sixth, seventh, and eighth graders, and that will be the first part of the race for the high school kids. So no, there will be some overlap there. Please have your high school riders be aware of that. And the preview, everything before 4:30 will be previewing the trail and learning the trail. It will not be the quote unquote hot lap or fast lap. At 4:30, we've now discussed that we're going to have a fast lap, and that one will be something for Jackie's going to discuss here in just a moment. But we're going to keep to our student athlete coach ratios, and we're going to control that a bit. So just please be very cognizant of the riders around you and who else is on the trail at the time. Jackie, did you want to take the
Yeah,
rules?
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
I just wanted to go back on the pre-ride thing real quick. So I heard great things about us being able to offer that extra 30 minutes for our fifth and sixth graders. But also, especially head coaches that are listening, know that you have a brand new rider. They can also go at that time if you feel like they're in that same realm with those fifth and sixth graders. That's more of that brand new rider that's going to need a lot of extra time, need to stop, look at things, all of that. That time is reserved for them. And looking at that, I felt like we should really reserve a time for our fast riders as well. So at 4:30, we are going to reserve a time for our student athletes that can do an average pace of 12 plus miles an hour to be out there. So if you're planning when to arrive, you want to make sure that if your rider is not going to go out and be going well over that 12 miles an hour, that they need to be on course probably about 3:50 or so, maybe 4 o'clock, depending how fast they're going, so that they can be out of, I don't want there being extra conflicts out there. So that 4:30 time will be reserved for the riders that want to feel what the course feels like at some speed to that. With that said, we still, as in always, we stay in our ratios. So our coach and our riders are in ratio. Um, if you may have noticed that our rules, our handbook this year says that the coaches and student athletes must be to or with each other. In the past, it has said that a level two or the level three coach had to lead them. So, because the handbook is not as strict in exactly where that placement of that level two or level three coach is, we're saying here in Florida, we're giving extra information that what we deem being with means is that you are within eyesight of your student athletes. So, especially thinking of this faster group, occasionally there are times that our student athletes are a little speedier than our coaches. So our coaches can sit behind. I'm sorry, can you go, I'll make sure that you've muted. Thank you. Um, So, with that said, we want to make sure that our student athletes, the coaches can still see them. So they're not like a mile down the road, or down rather the trail. So they're right there. So we really want to maintain that. We've had some head coaches and not head coaches, but level two and threes that don't really have too many fast riders, but they have agreed to go out and help with that. So if you need that extra assistance with your riders and ratios and that, let's have a conversation and kind of buddy you guys up with some other teams and things like that. So moving into the next thing is when we get into these mass start races, the the challenges that we see, the petitions that we see filed, things like that, the conflicts that we see on the trails tend to be the top two tend to be our pre-ride time and then our passing time. So I just wanted to take a few minutes just to go over this. Again, this is all in our handbook. Please review that. It's on the website. You go to coaches at the top, then you'll go to coaches resources, and then it's right down probably about the fourth or fifth link on the left side of your screen. So, highly recommend that everyone, coaches and parents and student athletes, are reviewing that. So, our pre-ride, it is a orange offense if student athletes are not riding with their level two or level three coach. And remember what with means. And that can be the way the rule is written here is a team offense with it being the first one being a 15 points, a second 25 points, and a third 50 points. The other thing is, student athletes, if they are coaches are not out there at all. So not even like they're next to each other, but they're not out there at all. Student athletes chose to go on a pre-ride with no coach, then we're going to make that an individual consequence. And keeping it at orange, that is a 5-minute race penalty. So just please, please be aware and talk to your student athletes and make sure that they realize they need to be out there and going with their coaches. The other thing that we see a lot is this pass with class. So this is a yellow offense, which is a warning. But with us being mass start, we do see that. So we totally recommend that you guys in practice are practicing your passing and knowing with our passing, the big thing is when the rider comes up and they want to pass, they need to say that they would like to pass and which side they would like to pass. The more important part that tends to get there be more conflict is that the writer at front does not acknowledge that they've heard them and said yes, or said, no, hold on a second, let me move over, or let me come to a stop. And we see that a lot with our newer riders. They're nervous already, being maybe their first race and that. And so our riders are coming up behind, being courteous, saying you want to pass, but let you waiting for that acknowledgement and not being halfway past the person before you say you're passing. And that just takes a little bit of practice. And as well, the rider who is being passed, really talk to your riders about that and make sure that they realize they need to be acknowledging that they have heard somebody behind them and they need to move over as soon as they can. However, if it's a tight place, it is okay for them to say just a moment and I'm moving over now. something like that. That is okay for them to say. But they do need to acknowledge that. And it comes down to communication. We get petitions. People say, oh, so and so is blocking the course. And they're like, I wasn't blocking the course. I was just looking for a place to get over because there was water on the side of me, or there was like, an incline that I didn't want to fall off, or whatever. So we want to, one, assume positive intentions on this. And two, if we're communicating with both our faster writers and our writers that may be being passed, I think that this can definitely become a a rule that maybe we don't have to have as many discussions on. If anybody wants to discuss this further, I'm available for that, preferably before the weekend. But the weekend, things get really busy, and that, of course, I will make a time, if at all possible. If there is a problem with this during a race, of course, we'll have that conversation at the race. But if you have questions going into the weekend about this, give me an email and let's figure it out. So, done with all that. Let's talk about some fun stuff. So this weekend we talked about we're going to do the rad relay race again. We did that last weekend. We just did one. So spoke with Ralph about it, got some feedback, and we're going to go ahead and do two rad relay races this coming weekend. We're going to do it at 12 o'clock and we're going to do it at 1 o'clock. Our coaches are busy. They're doing their coach meeting, then they're going off and doing the coaches ride. So this is a great opportunity for our kids to get on over to the adventure area. They can play bikes and all of that, but then they also can be going out there and giving it a little rad relay race. Adventure area will be open again, sunset ride. And that is invited all of you to come out and do that. What we're going to have you do is check in at the adventure tent with your student athletes. Just kind of write down who's going with you or how many student athletes they are. When you come back, just checking back in so we know that we didn't lose anybody out there. So it'll just be a check in, check out kind of thing. 6:30-ish, we will be rolling out our rad movie. So bring your chairs, bring your sleeping bag over and your snacks, and watch a fun movie. As I said at the very beginning, our home team this weekend is the Ocala Gallops, and they are hosting our grit tent, and we're going to be doing a clean bike is a fast bike. So head over there and learn all about your how to clean your bike, how to lube your bike, all of that fun stuff. Teen Trail Corps spoke with the UMBA group. They're our trail organization down there, and they are been working for the Fat Tire Festival coming up. So they pretty much were like, we've done it all. So they don't have a opportunity for us to do Teen Trail Corps hours at this event. Still, swing by the tent. You can get some information, have a Jenga game you guys can play, and that. And with that said, with our adventure and teen trail core, make sure that you get your hours for teen trail core. They go into the pit zone. Make sure you get those in by next Wednesday. Adventure, those are missions that you complete in that app. You want to make sure you get that in also by next Wednesday. Because at our awards, we are going to be bringing up our bronze, if we have any silver yet, or any gold. So as you can see on this slide here, our trail stewards bronze, if you've done anywhere between 12 and 19 hours, we're going to call you guys up, get recognition, got some fun things for you. We'll be doing the same for our bronze for adventure. Then we'll also be talking about our Trek fundraiser. We have our top ones that we will bring up and acknowledge them. Volunteer raffle will continue just like last time. So when you volunteer and you check in, get your ticket, and at podium we will be pulling out the winners for that. And of course, acknowledging our top five in our racing categories as always. So speaking of volunteers, we need you, we need you, we need you, we need you. We can't make the magic happen without you. So please get on over on the front page of our website. There's a button there that takes you straight to the sign up. There are opportunities to sign up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to get those volunteer hours. Not only are you going to get put into the raffle to win some cool prizes, but also all of those hours go towards our end of season Florida championship race. Not race, championship team for the team awards. So our check raffle, I pulled out right now in first place is our Treasure Coast Raptors. Uh, they are a brand new team, and they will be able to keep 100% of the money that they bring in. Our second place team right now is Gainesville, and we are rounding out third place with Tarpon at the moment. Our top athletes right now are William with Treasure Coast. We have Katie L with Treasure Coast, and we have Bryson in Gainesville. And Bryson was our overall last year. So this is a picture of him last year. And he raised $4,110 last year. So thank you so much to our student athletes for that are out there. Coaches and parents, you can set up a page, a giving page for your student athletes. You can get a QR code, and there's like a lot of great things. Just get onto that link and you can see how to set that up. Very, very simple. And one last thing, well, not, I have a couple last things, but we are needing you guys to fill out the economic survey. And this is something that we need after every one of our races. So right now, scan the code right now on your phone. If you didn't fill this out for CRP, go ahead and do that now. Super, super quick. A couple questions to answer. By answering it, you can get put into a raffle as well to win some cool things from NICA. But we'll have signs that look like this that will be actually as you leave the venue. You can scan it on your way out and do it right then. Couple little reminders tomorrow night is our senior Q&A. So if you have a fifth, a sixth grader brand new to the league, this is a great opportunity for you to jump on Zoom and ask the seniors all your questions and hear from other student athletes about all the fun, rad things that we do here at Florida NICA. Registration closes on Friday. If you still have friends that want to join your team, have them get registered before Friday. And lastly, this is being recorded, so you can share it with your teams. They can watch it on YouTube. They can listen to it as they are driving to Santos next weekend. They can listen to it on Spotify or Apple and all those things. So that is what we have for you guys this evening. And I will hang out for a bit, or Joe and I will hang out for a bit to answer any questions that anybody might have. Go forth and be rad. We'll see y'all next week in